This is AI Marketing Experts, where bold marketers and next-gen AI collide. Each week, join us as we decode trends, test tools, and share real wins from the AI-powered front lines. No fluff, no hype, just straight talk and smarter marketing. Tap subscribe, and let's geek out on AI.
Welcome. It's another exciting episode of the AI Marketing Experts, and I'm here ready to geek out with my, we'll say, partners in crime, as we all are feeling overwhelmed with AI. And we wanted to have that discussion as to what all is brand new, what came out this week, how we cannot feel like it is a tsunami. We want to take it and break it down and make it more of a bite size that you as a small business owner will be able to run with. I'm Laura with Activation, and again, you know the rest of the crew here, and it's our pleasure here to have this discussion once a week where, like we said, a lot rolled out, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to the group to see who wants to start bringing forth the finer points that we want to highlight today.
I think one of the biggest rollouts that we've seen is this advancement in agents. So we were kind of talking about this a little bit ahead of time, but so this whole rolling of AI into our world, you've seen from all these episodes, go back and watch other ones if you haven't, whatever, you notice that, you know, AI has use cases. Like, you know, it started off, it could write a really damn good letter, right? You know what I mean? It could, you know, and then obviously you can start talking to it and you can just have this conversation. You can make it your friend. You can go, I'm having this problem in my life. Let's have a conversation and all that kind of stuff. And these things are all good use cases. So if you haven't caught up to that level, get in the game because it isn't going away. But it is the fastest growing technology, transformational technology, whatever you want to call it, in human history, fastest adopted, fastest growing, and it's not slowing down. What we're all noticing being in the trenches is it's speeding up. So agents are things that we, you know, way back in the old days, you know, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, talked about and built N8N, which is just a Zapier N8N, these tools that allow you to connect one thing to another thing to another thing and do something. So based on a trigger, put something in a line of a spreadsheet, and at the very end of it, it's not just a blog post, but it's posted to the website, it's turned into social posts, and it just does it all for you. That's a flow. And it pulls in different logic and different smart pieces as it goes. Well, a lot of these things are starting to show up in the tools that we know and love that we talk about on here. So we've got obviously Copilot has so Microsoft Copilot has a marketplace now. ChatGPT has all the apps and agent mode, and we've got Claude as well, having released their new use cases and stuff like that around. I've just forgot the name of it off the top of my head, but and yeah, so Claude has come up with Skills. They call it Skills now, so it's put a lot of refined stuff in, and then have the agent have it dialed into one topic, and then have agents that can do things, all this kind of stuff. So now it's even messier. If you think about it, it's like, how do you, as a business owner, know, should I get an agent? Should I build my own agent? Should I hire somebody to build an agent? How, you know, is an agent out of the box good? Is there threats to using that? Like, you know, whatever that is, whatever that agent can be using. I'm sure as a group we'll talk about what kind of agents are out there right now and where they're going. But this whole thing is going to become an app marketplace basically as well. And what are the risks? Who wrote it? Is there any backdoors built into it? Is it meeting your needs? All this kind of stuff. It could be another just big shiny object distraction if you're not logically thinking through it. So lots of stuff rolled out, but now how do you put it in place? How do you dumb it down and use it in your business?
And thanks, John, for starting us out, especially so strong. And those questions that you're asking, that might be something you jot down and actually ask your favorite AI and go through it one by one if you are considering trying one of the agents, and why, how, what, like he was saying, what are the use cases? Is there a backdoor? Do we have to worry about security with it? So again, these are the conversations and points to ponder before moving forward with anyone. So Chris, Brad, Jen, what would you like to comment and build on when we're talking about the rollout of the specialized agents?
So for me, Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. So for me, I think that really trying to fine tune even myself on what platform am I going to use, right? And so I can't even imagine if you're out there trying to figure this out as a small business owner, right? And trying to figure out more importantly how to add this into your whole marketing mix, right? Um, and and really how to help your own business do the things that need to be done, right? What it's come down to me is that I still like personally like the chat GPT platform, right? It's simple enough that my employees still use it. While at the same time, I'm using like 4 or 5 different other, things. I'm using Grok. I'm bouncing back and forth in between all of these different things. And just sitting down with them, like they gave me a prompt as a starting point for a custom GPT that I was going to create for them to help them, right, with a workflow this past week. I looked at the prompt and I'm like, is that the best you can do, kind of a thing? And then I got to thinking, oh, maybe I need to actually show them how to build, a good prompt in the perfect prompt framework, right? Jonathan Mass framework. And so I sat there and kind of rolled down through them, through that whole process with them and kind of showed them how to do that. But it still gets me to thinking that they keep gravitating back to ChatGPT, even though there's all these other different, things out there, and they each have their own various strengths, right? And that's why I bounce back and forth in between them. Like for instance, I've been using Claude a lot lately, right? Because it's just keeps getting better. Um,
And they just rolled out something new too.
they did, and I was trying it out this morning and asking, what I actually asked it what its strengths were. So they rolled out Haiku 4.5. It's their newest, latest, and greatest. There's Sonnet. There's all these other different ones that they have. They name them for whatever reason, and then so it's hard to keep up on that side of things on what model to use for what, right? Which is why ChatGPT went to just one thing rolled all in one. But on Haiku, the most interesting thing that came out to me this week was that they rolled it out to the free accounts. Okay. And that's kind of a first for most of these, LLMs. They roll out their best to the pros or the pluses, right? Or the enterprise folks first. Anthropic, by doing this inside of the Claude platform, they completely democratized, right, this brand new platform, which by the way is really, really cheap. If you use it in the back end and look at how much it costs for tokens, it's $1, right, on inputs, $1 for a million tokens. Okay. On outputs, for what it outputs is $5 for a million tokens. So that is super, super cheap. When you get down to it, like a whole 2,000 word article is going to be about 2,000 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? 0.002 cents. I don't know. I can't, I can't even do that math off the top of my head, but it's just super, super cheap. But the big thing on them releasing that to the free accounts is that everybody in the entire world has access to that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a new thing, I think. So just something to pay attention to, something to think about.
And I think you brought to light that, just like you said with your team, they found that system that they're comfortable with. They're getting stronger, so they're doing absolutely nothing wrong with they don't need to be out there looking for an agent if they're getting what they need done accomplished. So again, we're just talking about that next level. We're seeing different companies. I know in agriculture, a lot of corporations are rolling out specialized agents that they would like their sales teams to use, and therefore it's been trained. It's really doing what they need to assist their salespeople that are out there. And so that's what we're talking about is, again, just options out there and how we are evaluating and saying, okay, will this work for small businesses, or do we need to look for another system? So Jen, Brad, what would you like to add?
I think that probably the the biggest thing that businesses want to remember is there's so many new tools. There's so many tools that keep upgrading and updating and everything else. And so we live in a world of overwhelm already. So now, as business owners, especially somebody that's not technical, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, I barely could even navigate ChatGPT basic, you know? So, I've said this before, if you want to dig in, which I recommend you do to some level, there's a million YouTube show you how to do things, how things work, or, obviously follow our show, but we're not going to give you step by step necessarily. But at the end of the day, probably the most important piece really is what what can you use AI for to solve problems within your business? You know, if you've determined that you heard that a shop down the street, for example, was using it to simplify outreach to their existing customers, or to help them manage their social media or their content on their website, or there's just a million different uses you could use it for. But if you are in that space where it's like, okay, I heard that Bobby down the street did this. I heard that you could do this. Well, if you want to have it sorted out internally, then again, there's methods and plenty of training online to show you how to do these things, and to build out a system of agents or whatever it is. But at the same time is money. So I've said this over the years. A good friend of mine who's now retired, I did his marketing for his vehicle repair shop for over 10 years. And this guy is a genius when it comes to vehicle repair, collision, auto theft repair. I mean, this guy is the top tier guy when it came to all those things. But when it came to technology, even basic stuff, he couldn't handle it because that's not his superpower, right? I always called him the 1G man in a 5G world, because and he laughed because that's so true, Brad, because it 100%, he was not technical. So for him, it made all the sense in the world to hire an expert like somebody on the panel here, somebody that can do these things for them, to build out these systems, to refine the systems, to tell them what's even available to do, because a lot of people just aren't going to grasp it. I mean, we're fortunate that we have technology backgrounds, and that we're living and breathing these things, and that we're bringing it to life, and we're helping business owners implement it and manage it. But some people are never going to grasp it, and but they're intrigued by it. They know that they need to do something, and a lot of them just have a fear of it because they have a hard time just managing their email. So if you're watching our show and you're like, well, holy mackerel, I have no idea how I could ever do this, and even a younger person that's on my staff may be able to handle it, but I've already got them bogged down on some other things. Reach out to an expert, because that can make all the difference in the world. We could then build out systems that could free up your assistant that's already bogged down with all these things that you didn't even know that could be automated.
Exactly.
So I think that's the biggest thing, is what can move the needle for your business. Find that out, and then do a consultation with somebody that knows more than you do, and at least see what the capabilities are, because it's going to change next week anyway. But at least find out what's happening this week.
Well, and Brad, you brought to light again that piece of value. The gold nugget is those business owners, you that are listening here, you know your business. You've heard those questions. You know what your customers are looking for. So even if you do not want to go down and be that technical person in your business, that's great. You can write down those questions, because again, as we've mentioned over past episodes, no one's just looking for keywords any longer. They have specific questions that they're asking. And you as a business owner, even if you don't want to ever touch AI, you will be doing your business a world of good if you jot those down, take note what they actually are, and then, as Brad was saying, hand it over to an expert, hand it over to somebody in your organization, find someone that you can talk those through, because that's what's going to have you shine in AI, because you've answered those questions. So your foundation is going to be stronger. And Jen, before we even started, you had a great question that you thought business owners should ask up front while they're trying to decide what they want to do with AI. So do you want to go into that a little bit?
Well, I just think it's really important to start with the problem. Start with what they're trying to solve. Don't never use AI just to use AI. I mean, sometimes we can kind of fall into that, I think, a little bit because we nerd out on it. But as a business owner, I never want to use AI just to use AI. We really need to focus on solving the problem. And if our listeners have a business like I do, like basically any of us do, there's lots of problems. And so AI can be helpful in so many ways, but get granular. Ask the question, what is this one problem they're trying to solve? And it might be that over time, you're solving 10 different problems with AI, and that becomes a bigger system. But things are moving so quickly and evolving so quickly that the problem that is solved today in a certain way might need a different solution in a few months even. And so it evolves. Not that the solution, not that the AI necessarily has to change in 3 months. I don't mean that, but for example, when ChatGPT came out with 5, there were a lot of custom GPTs that at first they automatically moved to that. And it was like, wait, no, we want it to use 4 instead because 5 is terrible when it first started. Now 5 is doing really good. So if you have someone, whether it's on your team or an expert that you're working with that can make those changes to your AI solutions so that they continue to work for you, it's important.
It's very important. And to, as you're bringing to ask your AI, to have that conversation, go back through and say, I don't know where to start. I don't know what kind of agent, and then discuss. Because I know this past week, as we've been, going into our 4th quarter, we've worked with a lot of clients and customers about planning their 4th quarter or making 2026 or future years much stronger. It was a delight to actually have those conversations and have AI push back and say, well, why? Why do you see that as a problem? And it kept asking, do you know, when we were all being trained years ago with sales and customer or as business owners, keep asking why, keep asking why, keep asking why. That's a great thing to have a conversation, pick up again, that $1,000 piece of machine in your pocket when you're enjoying great weather, taking a walk, sitting there in the evenings or whatever. Ask why. Why do I need this? And then you can ask for what would be a way to get an agent or what recommendations your systems have. And it gets you a lot closer.
I want to dovetail into what you both you ladies said expertly. So there's a really cool story that so Tesla almost went bankrupt there, 5 years ago, 6 years, and Elon, first principles thinking, all that, realized they were too automated. So that's that whole story where he slept on the couch in his office 16 hours, like he was working 16 hours a day at the factory. He was down on every single machine, every single floor, put more people back in the process again, and retooled the whole thing. And because he's really great at can I take something else off? Can I take something else off? Can I take, and then get it to minimum viable and then break it and then add back only the critical and then retool and work from there. They are probably now more automated than they ever were before that, but it was, they got to the point where they'd almost broke the whole company. So yeah, don't do AI for AI's sake. Pick your one thing. Start with one concrete thing. As Chris would say, if it's going to make you money, that's a good place to start. Or if it's a repetitive task, it's going to save you a lot of time. Pick that one. Keep the human in the loop. all the stuff that we've talked about. Don't just build it, let it run. Very, very, very methodical due diligence. Measure money made or minutes saved. Like have an actual measurement, not just playing games with it. Protect customer data like nothing else. You're not uploading customer lists and things like that. And then, with that idea, then this new pre-built marketplace could be a place to start, or at least a consultant might be able to help you find pre-built ones versus the huge lift of building them up, because all an agent is something that does, it completes a bunch of tasks. It automates a series, not just a thing. So you can put it in place with a little bit of those guidelines and stuff like that, but really think of that thing where, maybe it's after a call, you have a pre-built agent that takes the transcripts on the call because of your phone system, and like there's ways to play these games, but without getting too techie, and it just comes out with the notes that the technician will need, in my world, to go clean the carpets. What did the customer say, and what are their important things? And Janice at the front desk should still be answering the phone, not Janice 2.0 AI necessarily, because people still want to talk to people. There's a little bit of, the human in the loop for the ones that wanted a handoff, all that stuff. But she now gets off the phone and can pick up the next phone, and the AI has gone, boom, here, just take that, put that into that work order, thanks. Or if it can do it automatically and do it for you. But at least if you're using tools like House Call Pro's Service Monster in our world, it could be something you had the conversation, screen pops up, you paste it in, and off you go. And that just saved you, I can't, excuse me, ma'am, Janice here at ABC Carpet Cleaning. Can I put you on hold for a quick second? Why did she say that? Because she's still, the last call, she's still trying to remember what we just talked about and put the notes down. That's now done. So that would be an example of one, or the sales triage we talked about. Every single call comes in, gets held in an Airtable in whatever, but the agent is building it's all together. And at the end of the week, it just spits out here's what you did well, here's what you could have improved, here's some script advice, here's your booking percentage, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, without a sales manager needing to spend, 4 hours, 5 hours on a Friday morning or Monday morning or whatever, triaging the whole week. It's just done for you and things like that. So there's use cases where it can make you money, save you time. Think of all of those, and then talk to somebody. If that's not your world, talk to somebody where they can help you start the process and just do one.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jen.
Well, I just wanted to jump in because John, you're talking a lot about the sales process. So basically, kissing cousin to marketing. And so the sales process, I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday. For the life of me, I cannot think of what it was, but it was about sales. And, there are sales teams now that are using AI for all of these, a lot of things that you were just talking about, John. And then there are sales teams that they haven't even introduced AI in any way. And the podcast, they were actually calling that antiquated sales. And all that is a sales process that was like just very normal, a year ago, 6 months ago, whatever, today, but it's not using AI. And so if you are a business owner that has a sales team, if you are not using AI to help that entire process really in multiple ways, you are already antiquated. Like that's the reality today. So I just want to
100%
point that out.
And I know, Chris, I can tell you got a valuable point. I just want to dovetail to what's coming so that we can keep moving forward. John, Brad, everybody's been throwing great tips, and your head might be already spinning if you're watching this and listening to it and such. I'm going to throw two more things at you. And that would be the Perplexity comment browser or the new Gemini browser. When you have that up in your upper right-hand corner and you're like, oh my gosh, this company is marketing to a T. I'm seeing their ads. They've got such great messaging, or you hear that, or you see how another company is able to take appointments online. How are they doing it? You click that little button and ask. So now your browser can go ahead and evaluate and go through and say they are using this that and the other regarding software or tips and everything. And so you may not want to build it out yourself, but if you're looking to hire someone or you are intrigued on how their messaging is so much stronger, consider upgrading your browser to something that allows you to ask it, what can you use? Even this morning, someone sent me over a request and I was like, I'm not really sure, because they wanted it playing on a system within their office. And based on what they sent over, I dropped it in, said, this is what we've got to work with. How can we tie it all together? I had an action plan very quickly with a system I had never used before. So I just want to throw in the fact that these browsers are getting stronger. So, Chris, what all do you have to add?
So I've been using Comet quite a bit more lately. In fact, I'm really liking it. I haven't quite gotten to the point to where it's automating everything that I want automated, kind of a thing. But it's
Do you want to explain some of the possibilities with that? Of what you're considering?
So what I'm considering is, and I've already asked it if it could do it, and I just haven't had it do it yet, right? And that's the cool part about it. You can talk to the browser itself and ask it what you can do inside of a platform, right? So I was inside of ClickUp, right? There's a common project management tool that we use, right? And so I was inside of it and I asked it, well, what can you do, right, inside of this for me? And it already knows me. It's because it's tied into Perplexity. Perplexity is already trained on me. It knows all the kind of stuff, right? And so it told me that it could use it to do all sorts of like project management for Site Supercharger or software. It told me it could do all of these really cool things and automate that for me and notify me when certain things happen or didn't happen, right? Which is more what I need help with is knowing when tasks didn't happen, right? And when they're past due and all that kind of stuff, and to kind of summarize that per employee on all of their past due tasks, right? And so as a business owner, I think that as long as you've got a browser-based CRM, okay, and in the roofing industry, you've got AccuLynx, you've got Job Nimbus, you've got Service Fusion. There's several different tools that are out there. You could use a browser like Comet, right, to notify you of these things and help keep you abreast of what's going on in your own organization without you having to dig into all of the details all the time, right? I think that's really the power of an AI browser, is that it can help automate through the browser, doing it just like you would do it, right? And automate a lot of these things for you. And that's really the power of and it kind of wraps this kind of all up here of our discussion here, is that's the power of agents. That's the power of AI and agents, is that they're going to be able to free up your time for thinking, right? What we were built to do, and not to do menial tasks. We were built as visionaries of our companies to sit there and think, well, what's the next best thing that we need to be working on? How can I better serve my customers or my clients? Right. And I think that that's really the power of it. It's like having an employee. And I say it almost every single one of these, that these are tools out there. And I view them as almost like little employees that can go and help, little elves, if you will, that can go and do things for us. So anyways, that's kind of where my thoughts are.
So here's a little tip just to piggyback off of what Chris just said. This is super short, but he's talking about the Comet browser, which is through Perplexity, and Perplexity Pro, which is the upgraded version of all this. You can get that for a year at no cost. I know through, if you have a Samsung account, I believe, also a PayPal account, I think you can get it for a year for free now.
Venmo too.
Venmo. So this is something that is, you get the pro version of it with all the other features, and obviously the browser, the Comet browser, and all these other higher end functionalities at no cost for most anybody could get.
They're going the drug dealer route there Here, have a taste.
Yeah.
You know,
Get
right?
hooked.
You're gonna get you captured and ready to pay for that subscription. But
Right.
and okay, so even as I just mentioned, subscription. I mean, consider again what we've subscribed to. Look at what you're paying for, and the fourth quarter is a great time or any quarter, but the fourth is always good to evaluate and know what you might be able to to remove from your auto pay, which is great. And then the other thing too is if you kind of do the research now, you've got a few great holidays, we'll say, to grab deals. So whether it be the Black Friday, the Monday, you've got
Cyber Monday.
Yeah, the Cyber Monday, you have, of course, the end of the year. But again, keep your eyes open if there are, an AI, or if there is an AI system that you have not tried that you're saying, wow, I'd really like to see how that is. It might be the time to look at some deals and discounts. So, and then the other thing to keep in mind is we may not have mentioned your favorite AI. We're not going to be able to mention everything here, but the ideas, the concepts, the considerations, the questions, we hope that you go and use that for whatever your favorite LLM is and lean in and actually say, okay, is this the one? And see how it works for you with those particular systems that you already have experience on.
That made me think of something too. I know that Comet Browser and some of the other AI browsers will do. If you sell something online, if you have a business that has products that you sell, or you want to spy on your competition, or you're just Christmas shopping, whatever it is, you can use these tools to look through there, and it's insane what it'll do to compare prices and get you the best deal, spy on your competitors, whatever you want to do, ethically spy on your competitors, right? And so it's pretty powerful. Whether you're looking to book a trip or you're shopping, I mean, it's so embedded in there now that it's kind of cool to check out for sure.
That's a very great point. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add before we do kind of a wrap up?
I think we hit a lot of good high points for sure.
Yeah. I will say, and this might get us a little bit more comments, but my intent was based on what Brad was saying. If you don't know, if you are asking ChatGPT to search something, you may be surprised at what it lifts up regarding product recommendations because it is blocked from Amazon. So they have noticed a huge difference in the fact that Target, Walmart, Etsy, all those are going to be showcased. Shopify stores are now having a great opportunity to be showcased because of the block. So to Brad's point is if you're saying, hey, what's the best price on, you might be surprised that Amazon is not allowing that to be searched.
I'll bet Amazon has its own, Amazon probably has its own AI thing. I know they have some AI baked in, but I'm sure that there's pieces of that will work too, just in native Amazon.
I actually
Right.
love that it's not showing Amazon because it's I feel like I can go to Amazon. I can do my searches there. But like show me something different. So I love that. Yeah.
And I think that's one reason why I had heard that that's one reason why that Sam had wanted to keep ads off. And now we understand that ads are coming and they're going to be primarily in the links. But that was one reason why, because he felt like the true authentic recommendations would be there. It would not be a sponsored or, ad based at that point. But I know we'll see those changes, but it was just intriguing to me. I also agree. It's nice to have others showcased as places to shop.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jen.
I in honor of Claude's Haiku 4.5, I asked it to write a haiku for AI overwhelm, and it came up with tools multiply fast. Which one fits? Choices paralyze. Lost in the upgrades.
Those are going to be our new T-shirts. We're just going
There you
to
go.
do that. A little long for a bumper
Lost in
sticker.
the
We're just
upgrades.
that is a fabulous place to stop. I think that summarized it well. We wish our small business owners a wonderful experience with researching these tools. And don't forget, have fun. That's one thing that we take our job so serious that some days we get to write haikus with a haiku, and it drives them home. So please subscribe, share with your family, friends, other business owners, because again, we like to give you honest opinions as to what we're seeing. And when we feel overwhelmed, we're going to share that and talk through it as a group. So we hope you get value out of that. But again, subscribe, watch for our next episode that'll be dropping soon. Have a great day.